For many people, the joy of marriage includes having children. For some, they want to have children immediately. For others, at a later date. But what happens when, although you desire to have children immediately, it takes much longer? And when that child eventually arrives, the child is diagnosed with an incurable disease. My guest today is here to talk about her own journey into motherhood and the shocking diagnosis of her child and how she has been able to manage that. But much more, she has been able to turn that into an organization that now supports and takes care of parents who are going through similar challenges. Please join me as I welcome Sheila Akputa. Sheila, it's so lovely to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's so wonderful to be here with you today. It's like a dream come true.
You're very kind. Sheila, I know that you have just given a summary of what we're going to be talking about today, but I want you to introduce yourself to our audience and to talk about this organization that you formed.
Okay. So my name is Sheila Nguli Akputa. So many of my friends call me Nguli, while some others call me Sheila. So, but because a lot of people don't get the name Nguli, so I rather go with Sheila, so you don't murder the name. So I'm a mom of 2 handsome boys and a wife, a business analyst, and a co-founder of PESBODS. So PESBODS is an acronym for Pitchman Smile Boosters, Organization for Children Living with Disabilities, Autism, and Sickle Cell. So I'm just going to give a brief summary of what my journey so far. So I got married in 2010. And just like Mo has said, the dream of every woman is once you get married, 1 year into the marriage, everyone is expecting to have celebration down the line. But mine, 1 year came, passed, 2 years, miscarriages, along the line, stillbirth. And then going into the 5th year, I had my baby. It was so joyful that day. I can't forget how I cried having him put in my arms and in the pain and all that mixed feelings. And then hours later, the doctors were running up and down. I'm like, what are they doing? And they just said, oh, well, we see something on his legs. We want to check. Fine, okay. And hours later, they come to tell us, oh, you're going to go home after 2 days, but we need you to come back to the hospital. We have to run some tests. We see his legs are not straight. And I'm like, wow. And truly, they brought him to me, and his legs weren't straight. They were curved in. Now, I have never seen such a thing in my life. And I'm like, how did I go wrong? How did this happen? But somewhere, I was still happy. I have a child to hold on to. And the journey started. So from 1 week to series of tests to procedures at a very tender age of 2 weeks to months. My husband had to go back to Nigeria. My mom came and we spent 3 months and they were just trying to work on it. And afterwards, we had to go back to Nigeria, my country. And then we continued in the process. We had various recommendations. Oh, you see this surgeon, you see this orthopedic person, you see this one. And just name it. Anywhere they said we should go to. Lagos, we were there. Enugu, we were there. Abuja, we live in Abuja, so we were going. At the point, we almost opted to have them fly in a doctor to one of the hospitals at Abuja just to come have the surgery. I think they were saying the doctors come from the US or UK, I can't remember.
And how old was he at this time?
Under 1. So That is my story and that is my journey. Now, I was a banker by profession back home, so I had to take a leave of absence because it's going to be incredible. You're telling them every time you're going to the hospital. So the best thing was to just stay away from work.
So right from a young age, you started visiting hospitals with this child. Was the diagnosis clear at the time?
Well, at the time, all they could say was club feet. But they were confused because if it was club feet, by now, it should have been corrected because he had had multiple casts. We came back to Nigeria. They had, I can't remember what it was called, but it was a minor procedure as well. And so they believed that with the whole thing, it should have been corrected. But they were surprised. Why is this not corrected? So at about 9 months of age, we went to the US. We had to go back. Went to one of the hospitals at Houston, and the doctor said, oh, I believe this is too young for us to take into like treatment because from what he can see, if they treat it now, then it's going to relapse again.
So he was born in the US, or where was he born?
He was actually born in India.
In India. Okay. And it was in India that they discovered.
The first diagnosis was in India.
And so since then until now, has there been any changes?
Well, I would say yes, so far we've gone into the stage of not having a folded legs into something straight, but the feet are still not on the floor. So his feet are all bent, so he walks on his side, and his feet are not that matured of someone of his age. So when you look at his feet, they're tender because some bones are missing, and they're shorter than his age mates. So that being said, he needs support. And then on his waistline, he has some bones that are missing. So even if he walks on those side of his legs, it's wobbly. So he's not stable. He doesn't have a stable balance. And then behind one of his legs, the right legs, in fact, it's slightly shorter. The knees are slightly shorter, and then so it's kind of complicated. And coming to Canada, we had so many investigations as well, and then finally at SickKids it was proposed to be orthogryposis. So now that's my first time of hearing that as well. So orthogryposis, from the explanation we got from the doctors at SickKids, was that it's a complex kind of club feet that might or may not be irreversible. That's the word. So 1 out of 10 kids that have club feet have orthogryposis. And out of those diagnosed with it, 1 out of many gets fully recovered. So the hope is there, but we can't question God. We can only move on, and we can only keep moving, keep encouraging, and see the best out of whatever it is that we're going through right now.
And I know you're here sharing your story today because you want to give hope to other parents who are going through this. But I know that the one question that they may want to ask you is, how is life for you, the caregiver? Because oftentimes we ignore the caregivers. We focus more on the obvious need in front of us, which in this case will be your son. So how has this impacted you as a parent?
Well, it's been a journey of tears, laughter, sadness, So many prayers, so many reasons to ask God, why me? Why after all the years, and then the very first child I'm to carry is going through all this. And then because he's so cute, he's so smart, and I'm like, why does he have to go through that pain? Because he's been through pains and pains for so long in his short time of living. But the only hope that we keep moving on, I and his dad, is that God knows why, and he has a reason. And so coming to us as the caregiver, especially for me, there are times I try to be tough, but deep down, it's hard. I try to give him my best, but sometimes I get all worked out and I cry in my closet, and I don't want them to know that, like, I'm weak. So that's me. And sometimes my husband knows, or he kind of noticed, and he said, take a break. I'll get in and switch in for you, and just do the hospital runs and do all that. So one particular time that got me all worked up was the last surgery he had. It was an 8.5-hour surgery.
8.5.
Yeah. And in fact, I can't say what I felt. So many thoughts were going through my head. Is he going to make it? What if? There were so many what ifs. And I refused to go in. They asked us to come in so that we see him and say bye before they wheel him off. And I'm like, why would they tell me that? I refused to go. His dad went in and he came out. And then I kept counting hours. Oh my God, that was the longest 8 hours I have ever known, because I kept tossing back and forth the whole way. I couldn't eat. I couldn't think of anything. Yeah, someone might say, oh, this child is not even normal. I have had someone tell me that. Yeah.
What did they mean?
I don't know. She was like, oh, he's not even normal. I wonder what you did that made you have this child. That's a woman that told me that. And so all those things, you hear, they're very insensitive words that you get to hear from people. Even some family members, I remember, like distant family members, when this happened, they were like, oh, who knows, like, what's her background? Where is she coming from? Some were saying, oh, what's the father's background? Maybe it's from the father's side. Maybe it's from my father-in-law, because he was very wealthy in his royalty. So they were saying maybe they had used them for something, or, so many things that people have said. And that has, one way or the other, it has made me grow to love God, to hold God more, and to ask him to always see me through at every stage that we go on this journey.
Right. And what's your son's name? Do you mind?
Yeah. So his name is Wenitim Elidad. So Wenitim means, Chime Wenitim means my God has lifted me up. That's his name. And Elidad, it's also a Jewish name. I can't remember what it is again. My husband will remember. He will see. I look at him and I tell him, you are great. And he tells me, yes, I'm great.
How old is he now?
So he's going to be 8 in November.
And what is life like for him?
Oh, wow.
From a mom's perspective, what do you see?
Smart. He is smart. He is loving. He's playful. He doesn't want to take no. and he wants to do those things that people would say that he can't do. That's it. And so that has also motivated me, and that also kept me, and that actually bettered PESBODS. So his motivation has made me to say, oh, I can share my story with another person. I can encourage another person. Forget about what you're going through. Focus on the child. Try to make the best out of it. Stand strong, and you'll be there.
Now, I know that when you introduced yourself, you said you have two handsome boys. And so, does he have a younger sibling then?
Yeah.
And how old is his younger sibling?
So, after him, I'm not sure to say if it was the fear or if it was God walking, but we just decided to take a pause. And so his brother came 3 years plus after him. So his brother is 3+ right now, and he's good too. They're so close together. They're best of friends. They want to do things together. This one doesn't see the other one. He says, "Where's brother?" So they call themselves brother. And so I'm so happy like he has someone to play with, because before his brother came, he was always lonely. Like going out to play with other kids, they don't want to play with him because maybe he's slowing them down. It's not intentional for them though, but of course there was no way to explain to him that it's not intentional. He was always seeing it as being kept away. They don't want him around. So having his brother has given him that hope. He feels loved. Even when we all get busy in our space, he has somebody to play with, because definitely we get busy, really, aside caring for him, because we both work. So there are times that everybody's carried away. Maybe I'm doing something, his dad is doing something, and so I'm blessed with 2 boys. And
So what does a regular day, what does it look like in your household with 2 boys and you're working full time?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
It was busy. So regular days. So regular, I would say days to weeks. So because of his case, we have engaged him, not like if it's a mandatory one, but because we feel he needs to, and because he wants those things, so we have made him engage in so many things. He has his regular therapies at Holland Bloorview every week, so they book him like sessions are booked maybe 3 months. He has a particular schedule. Either it's swimming or he's going for some therapy on the legs, physio. So we have those almost on a weekly basis. Then we have him engaged in different stuff. So presently, he's into all ability games. He goes for that every Tuesday evening. He goes for the guitar class. Right now, he's at his guitar class. He goes for guitar class on Thursday evenings. Then Monday evenings is baseball. And then therapy session at Bloorview, it's on Friday. So somehow we just have to inculcate that in all our schedules. So the regular days, if it's school time, get them dressed, they go out, I log in. Luckily, I work from home most of the times. So I log in, my husband goes to work, come back. If he has sessions, we split it. Sometimes he takes him, sometimes I'm the one taking him. And
so life is busy.
It's busy. And then I think of PESBODS. I have to encourage somebody. We have in PESBODS, we do like a food bank drive every Thursday. So we go to our donors, we pick the food, we drop for the families. Thursdays. So Thursdays is usually busy and crazy in the house. So, but somehow we have it figured out. And thankfully my mom is around now. So she's been helpful in the past 2 years. She's been with us. So it's been a little easier trying to navigate, or when we have to go out, there's someone at home with the kids and stuff like that.
What has been the most challenging of all of this, of parenting a child with special needs?
How do you explain to the child that you can do a certain thing? So that's the most challenging part of the whole journey. How do you answer questions of Mom, I want to go to this place, or I want to do this, and then you say you can't, and then he says why? So I'm going to say one of the whys, or one of the questions. We wanted to go to Blue Mountain. It's been something he's had. I desire it, but because my friend has told me, oh, it has a lot of stony places, it's quite stony, are you sure you guys can navigate? And I say, last minute, we can't go. And why, Mommy? How do I explain to him, because you're on the wheelchair, that you can do this, you can use some of the games? Because he wants to do those things that you can't even imagine that he wants to do. He sees every other child, so why can't I do it? That's his question. I believe I can. So those are the tough times, like when I have to sit him down and say, you can't do this. And then it breaks my heart when he tells me, he said that to me once, twice, I feel they don't like me. And why? And then the other time, in fact, he said it to me, he said it to my mom and to my husband. I don't know why God created me this way. And
It must be hard.
yeah.
Thank you. What do you want to say to other parents out there?
In all this, I know it's hard. I must say it is hard. But just my only hope, my only comfort is God is not going to give you a load too heavy for you to carry. And so just keep moving. Cry when you want to cry. Let it go. Take a break. It's not easy. We're in North America. We have a lot of challenges. But just try to make time for yourself as well, because you might not know, like we talked about on Saturday in the session, that you experience some burnout and you might just feel you're stressed. But just try to learn your body. Try to study, know when you have that burnout. Because like the day he asked me that question, he was in his room, he was quiet, and I was saying, where is this guy? His brother was a baby then. And then he said, I don't know why God doesn't like me. And I said, why did you say that? And he told me, because I can't walk like other people. I tried, I was strong. I didn't show him. That pierced my heart. And I said, God loves you. He knows why. Just keep praying. Tell him every day, God, make my leg better. And I went into my room and I cried so much. And he keeps saying it. Whenever we're praying, he's always saying, God, please make my leg better. So it's something we're already used to, him saying. But I know, I can imagine how he feels. He might not be able to explain to us how he feels every day, but I can just imagine it. So we need to be strong. I'm going to encourage everybody out there. It's a tough one. You might have kids going through autism, sickle cell, Down syndrome, some of the names you have never heard, like I had never heard. Some heart diseases, some various things. Like when you visit these hospitals, you know people are going through a lot. Just keep holding on. Keep moving. It will get better. Try something I learned to do at the start of PESBOD. I went up because I kept having that message, PESBOD. But what was I going to talk about? What was I going to say? Is it just, I can always tell somebody my story, okay, encourage them, oh, bring your child out. But it was more. And the urge was there, and we kept praying about it. And I told my husband, I'm not sure I'm going to do this. And my pastor's wife said, we're going to fast. And we did that. And she said, go ahead. People need to hear your story. People need to be encouraged. And then because I didn't know what to do, I started Googling a lot of things, watching. I do that on a regular basis, how to parent a child with disability. But now I went in depth, and I kept on seeing a lot of people that are surgeons today, that are doctors, that are TED Talk speakers, and they have disabilities. And so that is my motivation. And that is the drive that I have to keep pushing. Whenever he says, I want to do this, I'm like, okay, we find a way around it.
Right.
And we do it. So that's my encouragement to every mom out there, every dad, every caregiver. Don't give up. Search the internet. Someone has lived your story. Someone can tell your story. You can make something out of somebody's story and tell your own story to the world.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
What else do you want to say to our viewers? Anyone you want to shout out to?
Oh, yeah. So a big shout out to Miriam. Miriam Morilitala, you have been an encourager. Each time she might not know, but I take her so high. Each time I speak to Miriam, I get lifted. Even if I'm weak, she's always saying something to me that will make me stand up and say, you need to move. So Miriam, I say thank you. And apparently she connected me to you. And I'm also going to thank my husband. He's been there. He's been so helpful. Even when I'm taking the back seat, he moves ahead. He takes time off work. He goes on the session. I haven't been to see kids in 2 years because he's been the one going there. Because at the point I was done with what I was seeing. So he's been the one going. He's been the one doing the sessions with him at Blowview. I just do the paperwork. and he does the drivings and all that. I just want to say thank you. I know it's not easy thinking that you're going to have a different path and God directs you on a different path. Thank you for understanding that and also respecting the call of God. And I'm going to say thank you to my mom. She's been awesome. Initially, it was hard. It was tough for her as well. But right now, she's just here. She's like, okay, I'm here for you. If this is what you want, I'm here for you. So I'm going to say thank you to my mom, to my baby boy, to the baby of the house. So he's always brother. When his brother has to go for walks, he wants to go with him. He makes him take longer walks because we have to practice and do some therapies and some scheduled things. So I'm going to thank them. And so many other people, every member of PESBOD, all the board members, you've been awesome, dedicating your time, trying to carry on with this vision with me. It's not easy, but you saw something in the vision, and that's why you have keyed in. I want to thank all the board members of PESBODS and every other person that has somehow bought into our vision, our donors, our encouragers. We have some people at the back that don't want to be mentioned or seen, but they always say, oh, here, do it this way, they do it that way. I want to say thank you to them.
How does one become a member of PESBOD? Is it open to the public?
Yeah. So we're open to, we're multi-race. We're not just black. We're open to every race, tribe between the ages of 0 to 21, because those are the age that you need to mold these children. You need to have them have that stability and confidence in them. After 21, most of them have built their confidence and they're ready to face the world. So we are focusing on trying to mold the ones that are lacking the confidence, and also to encourage their parents to also step in. So we're open to everybody. You can get us via social media. We're on Instagram as PESBOD. We're on Facebook as well. And our website is www.pesbod.ca. You can also reach us there or call any of our numbers.
Okay, so I'm going to put all of this in the description.
Sure.
And so Sheila, I just want to say thank you today.
Thank
you for coming. Mothers like you make our world go round.
Thank you.
Thank you for not giving up on your son and just being there for him.
Thank you so much. And thank you too for giving us a platform to air our visions, speak to people, and I'm sure you have a lot of followers that are always eager to, like me, what does she have to say next? So thank you for bringing up such platform.
Absolutely. Well, viewers, another story filled with hope. We cannot give up. On this channel, you'll always be sure to find hope. Someone needs to hear Sheila's message, and that is the reason we're bringing you authentic, real life changing stories. Everyday people, real life changing stories. That is what you will find on Talk with Mo. So until next time, take very good care. God bless you. Catch you later.